Welcome to the Monday, January 23rd Board of Health meeting for 2023. Our first item of business is a public hearing. Mary and Regina are present, and Gary and Nicole. Okay. So we will open this public hearing under Article 105 CMR 410.000 for the State Sanitary Code, Chapter 2, for minimum standards of fitness and human habitation. The public hearing has been requested by the tenants for 47 Thayer Ave regarding the only article that came under our jurisdiction at present was the replacement or repair of the slider door. Due to the fact that we have received confirmation from the owners that the door has been repaired and is in good working condition, we have no pertinent information to continue the hearing because the article that is under our jurisdiction is resolved.
What about the heat?
Is there no heat today?
The heat isn't reaching to a temperature. It's cold in our living room.
Okay, because the health agent has said that that has been an intermittent issue, but that the radiators are blocked with furniture and things?
It's been moved.
Okay, and what about the temperature setting?
It's in the bedroom. It's reaching 70 in the bedroom, but in the living room, it's not reaching temperature.
And then on Sunday, we woke up and the temperature in the living room was at 50.
degrees.
And we ended up having someone come out, but still it's only reaching 63, 64.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you want to?
Mr. Matta, do you know why this is happening? You've had it in to be repaired a number of times, haven't you?
I got a call.
So I'm sorry to interrupt, but if you want to speak, you just need to come up to the microphone and just state your name and address.
My name is Gary Matta, 147 Thayer Avenue, the owner of the property. I got a call at 8:22 a.m. on Saturday concerning a lack of heat. I got out of bed, went downstairs, and immediately called the repairman. Within half an hour, I got a call from the police department saying the tenants said that I turned their heat off. I told the police officer that that was totally incorrect, that I had already called the repairman, and they were out. They came out, they replaced the motor on the furnace. The heat was back on at 11:19 a.m. on Saturday. I haven't heard any problem about the heat since then.
Okay. And you, I assume, have an invoice for that visit from the heating man? Or something saying that he was there and?
At home, not with us.
No, that's fine, because I know it was a different issue. Okay, and just in
Yeah,
case we need it.
I have receipts for everything that's done. Some of them haven't come in yet because, you know, they're backed up. So
Mhm.
they tell you they'll send it to you.
Okay, thank you. You can take your seat. So Mary and Regina, if you want to come up to the podium, and you just need to state your name and address.
Sure. Regina Pucci, 147 Thayer Ave.
Mary Pucci, 147 Thayer Ave.
So is there heat currently in the
There's
apartment?
heat in the apartment, but it's not adequate heat. The heat in the living room is not coming to temperature. The house is freezing. When it gets cold out, the house is really drafty and cold. It reaches temperature because the thermostat is in the bedroom. And in the bedroom, it's a small room. But in that living room, the heat is not coming out. We've moved the couch. Jean Marie came out to our house. It's not reaching temperature.
We were out without heat December 24th, 25th, and 26th. He had somebody come out, and they fixed it. There was heat in all the rooms except the bathroom. So we complained that we weren't getting heat in the bathroom.
January 9th, they fixed it.
January 9th, they came out, didn't say anything. They shut off our water to put in a water heater. The heat came on in the bathroom, but now the heat in the living room is like barely even there.
And the hot water in our bathroom, sometimes you get hot water, sometimes you don't.
So is the issue with the hot water, is that because of the tank?
I'm not sure, but sometimes it just
They-
doesn't have hot water, sometimes it does.
On the 9th, they changed the tank. And since then, I mean, we've been getting
Hot
half
water,
water.
sometimes we don't.
Well, a lot of hot water heaters will cycle, and showers more than 10 minutes, or uses the water more than 10 minutes, it will.
But is his
stop.
tank significant enough to support the 7-bedroom, 3-bathroom house?
I don't know, I don't go in that side of the
Yeah, that's
apartment.
kind of really not our jurisdiction, and the other issue is where there's not a rental agreement. We don't know who has been approved to be in the apartment and who hasn't. If the original rental was just to your mom, and then subsequently other people have moved in, that could throw the adequacy of the heating and the hot water tank off, because instead of having one person shower, you could have multiple people shower. So that's really not something that we can speak to, because you don't have a rental agreement and we're not the housing authority. The only thing we can do with the heat is, which we've already done, is send Jean Marie out to take the temperatures in the rooms. But if it's an intermission issue and he's had somebody come out and look at the heat, it's kind of, we're a little bit between a rock and a hard place. If you call up at 7 o'clock at night and say there's no heat, and he tries to get somebody in to look at the heat, but they can't get there, and then when they get there, the heat is resolved and the temperatures in all the rooms are adequate, then it's kind of like a back and forth. So I'm not sure, Jean Marie, what we can do for that.
Well, one of the reasons there's a range is because this happens in, I guarantee you, almost everybody's house unless you have heating in your floor. One of the things in your living room is you've got an air conditioning unit that probably has air coming through it too.
It's covered.
It's built into the wall.
It's built into the
I
wall,
know
but
it is.
you
I'm
also
just
have
saying
a
maybe
cover
we need
on
to get
it.
an insulated cover for that. That will probably pick up the temperature maybe 4 to 5 degrees. But the reason there's a 64 to 78 degree range allowed is because you have to do that. Sometimes you need to turn bathrooms up to 78 to get the rest of the house up to 64, 65. It's what we live with, and then the person who's in the 78 degree room feels like it's too hot.
Yeah, I mean,
So that's why there's a range and not a specific.
if the only thermostat is in the bedroom, that's kind of an issue too. Like, is that door open and accessible all the time, or is it being closed? Because I know in my house, one of my kids claims it's freezing all the time, but he keeps his door shut. The heat just doesn't get in there. But as far as the article for today, which is the door and subsequently the heat, if they've had someone come out and look at the heat and replaced it, and that was the last complaint that was brought to the landlord, we can't really speak of a complaint that you haven't addressed with the landlord about, since the repair, you still feel that the rooms are low. We in our office try to be pretty diligent about getting out in a timely manner. If the heat was in a room and it was down to 50, we could come out and read the room and see what the temperature is. But if we adjust things and then the heat starts to climb, then it kind of negates our visit if it's because something's blocked or a door is closed or a window had been open or whatnot. If the heat starts to climb when we're reading the temperature, then I'll be right with you. You go ahead.
When they came out to make the repairs in December,
Mm-hmm.
they put a brand-new thermostat in that room, in their apartment, and on the first floor on my side. So it's not a problem with the thermostat not working, it's brand new.
I think it's probably more an issue of the fact that it's not an open floor plan. And you have small rooms here and big rooms there. And you get a gradient of 5 degrees from one end to the
So
other.
when the temperature drops in that room, I need to call the Board of Health again for you to come out.
Yep.
Okay.
And it would depend on, what is it, 64? It'd have to go below 64? Yeah, so it would have to be below 64. And then she could come out and read it and see what's going on. She would probably have to be there for a minimal amount of time just to make sure if she does adjustments or turns the heat up or things like that, it doesn't automatically start to go up. Because obviously I could open a window and drop the temperature.
And you guys don't deal with the snow removal of the driveway, correct? The
Well,
unsafe conditions?
The code is pretty specific in that one.
It's a shared driveway
It
and a
says-
shared porch.
Hang on.
Sorry.
It says from your door to the public way, and the public way is the street where you guys are. Okay, if you lived on a private a private road, it would be all the way out to the street. But, so snow and ice should be removed.
We do not have access to their porch. We do not use their porch area or their walkway alongside of the house.
It's a shared
We
driveway.
usually do the whole common area of the driveway, but we don't do their porch and where they park their cars.
But that is your responsibility as landlord.
So the porch that we don't use, that only they use, we do have to shovel.
Hmm? Yes, you do.
That's not in their agreement, okay. So-
We don't have an agreement.
But it is in state code. Okay, it says from the door to the public way. Yes, sir.
There was a rental agreement in place for 13 years,
Whose agreement is that? Is that you?
so I told them it would
We
not
don't
be
enforce
renewed.
housing
Okay,
code.
so it's just
We
the-
enforce state code, we don't enforce the housing authority.
All right.
That's something you need to take up with them.
All right.
Their financial end is done by the Brockton Housing Authority.
Right.
We don't enforce that.
Okay, so today, if the heat goes back down, we'll call the Board of Health again.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. So at this time, we've heard all the pertinent information. We're going to close the hearing and
Okay.
see if it triggers again. So this hearing is closed as of 5:14. Thank you all for coming in.
Thank you.
If you have a copy of that agreement, you can send it over to the office as well.
We will-
Even though it's expired, it would just be,
So it's just, we don't know what, like, for the Board of Health, like, the agreement with the housing authority.
Which
So
one
they're
to
two
enforce,
totally
right.
different
yeah.
things.
They are.
They are. Unfortunately, people assume that the housing authority issues fall under the Board of Health, but ours is just for safety concerns and housing codes and things like that. But as far as rental agreements, evictions, rent paying, people staying there that aren't authorized, that's really not us.
They're
There is no
supplying money.
agreement.
We don't.
It's the Brockton Housing Authority.
So that's what we have.
Yeah, you need to
Yeah.
talk
That's
to.
the agreement that we have was signed with them. And in fact, just yesterday, I got a letter from Brockton Housing about the issue with the door.
So they play both sides. Like they can be complaining.
They can issue a complaint to any board that they want, but unfortunately, we can only speak on the issues that are under our jurisdiction, which would be the door, which has been remedied, and then the heat, which appears to have been remedied. I know our agent has gone out several times, and it's, moving of furniture, blocking of, to circulate the heat.
The room is a big open room, it has
Yes, it
computer
is.
ceilings and the slider. So I mean, it's not gonna maintain a constant 70 degrees or whatever they want it to be.
Right.
I mean, and they.
I mean, they would have to leave the bedroom door.
And they'd have to jack the heat in that room, which would make it excessively hot, so. All right, well, thank you for coming in. Sorry
Thank you for
we
your
couldn't have
time.
resolved
Thank you.
more of it.
Thank you.
Okay, action items. We'll be moving on to invoices for Crystal Rock in the amount of $529 for water, Brown and Caldwell in the amount of $15,975 for the landfill monitoring, Harecourt Bindery in the amount of $133 for health and housing forms, and Happy Frog in the amount of $239 for Board of Health envelopes and business cards. Can I get an emotion to approve the invoices?
Motion to approve?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes from January 9th, has everybody had an opportunity to review those?
I was not here, so I'm
You-
going to
Yeah, you're
abstain.
excluded. So I will make a motion to approve the January 9th meeting minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so approved. Disposal system contract permits, local upgrade approval for 229 Crescent Street with the variance request. Jean Marie, do you want to speak on that?
It's a general repair.
Okay.
Request to allow the use of a sieve because we couldn't get a perk test, and reduce the 12-inch separation from tank inlets and others to groundwater. And allow one depot and a SAS. So it goes from a tank to a pump. We didn't want to move the existing tank. That's why it's got the groundwater variance.
Okay.
What's the 1D pool?
Code requires 2. Most of us in repairs say 1 because you already did 1 when you did the first system.
Okay.
As long as it looks the same. I'm pretty confident it works.
All right, motion to approve the 229 Crescent Street upgrade approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Installers license, do we have a list? Is there a list for installers?
Oh, there's a list, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. We go,
I see the hollow one.
To the back.
it just goes in order. For the installer's license,
Sorry,
find it.
I'm fumbling.
Oh, it's on the back side of. Suggest approval and then the back side.
Oh, okay. All right, so installers license, all of these are renewals, there's no one new?
Another renewals.
Okay, so Reliable Excavations, Lossowicz Homes, Ace Excavation, E. Watson Excavating. Can I get a motion for approval for the renewals?
Motion?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Installers are approved. And haulers permit renewals for 2023. We have Source Sanitation Pumping, we have Wind River Environmental, and Wastewater Services. Can I get a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. Health agent updates.
Okay, page after the haulers. Site assessment we did was for new construction on 585 North Bedford Street. It's right across from Ink Hearts. They're gonna, it's a house for sale, they're gonna rip it down and put Pool Place wants to go in back.
Oh,
About 4 acres, it kind of runs parallel to the two roads. So we did new construction, we got it there. Repairs, 229 Crescent Street, no new construction plans. Systems under construction are 68 Elm, 132 Seven Cedar, 29 Wildwood, 125 Bridge, 178 Sherwood, and new construction 7 Daisy Lane and 9 Daisy Lane. Did a lot of food inspections, Titani's, Sataka Pizza, Viking, and Skinner's will need re-inspections in 30 days. One Stop Food Mart, T-Square were inspected, and they'll be on a 6-month schedule. Received a concern regarding service of ready-to-eats at Dunkin' Donuts on Bedford Street. They don't have any they didn't have any gloves.
So they don't have any what?
No
Gloves.
gloves.
Oh.
So I called them and advised them to use wax paper tissues, food-grade tissues, utensils. Or in worst case, they could use a paper bag, like a sock puppet sort of thing, to grab donuts.
were they out, or they just didn't?
They were out,
Okay.
couldn't find them. Dang's Garden wants to offer sushi. I have to go through a HACCP plan with them, and we'll be doing that on Thursday. Housing, ongoing concerns, 147 Thayer, 558 West Street, 1357 Washington Street, and 625 Bedford Street. They popped up over the long weekend. 558 West Street, the tenants have moved. So that's closed, that case is closed. He will be required to have a housing certificate before he re-rents. Needs a lot of remodeling there. Permits went out today. So everybody has their food permit.
They've been completed.
Yep. FYI 24 budget, you have a copy with you. And the Bridge Street perimeter fencing, capital improvement project, you have a packet for you. So,
With the permits, did we secure a date for the training?
No, I'm gonna
Still
secure
going?
it, yes.
Okay.
Yep, a date this week.
All right, capital improvement. So,
this is a draft, okay? Feel free to change it. Just needed to get something in there to hold the place for town meeting.
okay. Did we clarify the financial responsibility for the replacement of the items in question?
For the most part, the fencing's pretty much ours.
Okay.
And along with that comes moving the bushes, and some of the trees have grown up through the fencing, so we have to have those cut down too. As
Would
far,
our- I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
That's okay.
Would our DPW take care of that prior to the fence installation?
I asked him, and he said it wouldn't be cost-effective for them to do it. What they will do is take all the wood chips and put them and use them as cover for part of the recycling area. We have some 2 to 4 inch trees that have kind of gotten up through the chain link fence after about 25 years. So that's what we're looking at. The only thing that's kind of questionable, and we have to figure it out, is replacement of the vent pipes. If they're only cracked at the surface, the DPW can sleeve them for us, and we'll just have the cost of the materials. If they cracked all the way down and went in through the lining, they can't, the DPW can't do that. We'll have to get someone else to do it. Because then you're into the lining and the capping, and that's beyond their scope of work.
So what's the process for understanding whether it's,
We have an inspection, we have quarterly inspections out there when they do the vent gases, and when they do the vent gases, they're gonna check.
okay,
I'm trying to find older plans of landfill, like when it was capped. Someone had suggested maybe Weston and Sampson might have them. That will tell me how far down into the capping those vent pipes go. So, because I know there's at least 3 layers of piping and venting. Think of it as a 3-layered cake.
do we have a time frame on the inspection of the pipes?
Probably in March, I think.
We have the locations of all of,
For the most, we're missing 2.
2 vents or 2 locations?
2 locations.
Okay.
2 pipes we can't find. And I don't know whether it's because they broke off further down and grass grew up around them and whatever, or they're not there. You can get a general idea with the maps, I think, that are attached. Will tell you where the vents and stuff are. And actually, she even says where, cannot locate or whatever. And she numbers them.
So currently, we need to get a date for the inspection and then decide.
Well, first of all, we're gonna go to, like I said, and that money is real guesstimate. for you.
Yeah.
I don't think the amount, the linear feet's gonna change too much. But the rest of it is pretty much there. They also said they may have, it might be 3 phases. One, like the first phase would be clean the brush, and that can come out of capital funds on hand. And then fencing might be town meeting, and then the gas and piping could be another.
Is there anything, like the venting and gas and piping, is that like of an urgent nature, or we won't know until the inspection?
The DEP inspection's in May of 2024, so we ideally would like to have all that fixed before then.
Before
So
then.
we have one in March, end of March. That's with our engineering company. So hopefully we can identify those.
Anyone have any other questions?
We meet with the Finance Committee on February 5th? 6th. Our next board
Right
meeting.
after.
It's right afterwards. So you're all welcome to come.
They're actually meeting here
Here.
at 5:30. So our meeting's at 5, and they requested to start meeting at 5:30. So just an FYI.
Well, hopefully, it'll be a light day and we'll be finished. Okay.
So this has all been submitted to Finance Committee. We made our deadlines. And there should be the town meeting articles in there too someplace.
It's on the back.
Okay.
On the back of it.
I don't like double-sided.
I know.
I know.
Conserving the trees.
I know, I believe in the conserving of
Saving
trees,
trees.
but I'm so hard to find.
Sometimes it just, yeah, it would make it easier if it's not.
All right.
Sorry, we're missing
We are
the
missing.
town meeting article and the other map, so those two probably
Maps.
are double-sided somewhere.
do not have any unanticipated items. Do either of you have any questions or? All right, so then I will make a motion to close the January 23rd meeting at 5:25 PM.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.